Damn, what's going on? Hope everybody had a great Monday on the back of a great weekend. Um, had a kind of fun DR day today. And I was honestly I wasn't feeling that hot, so I was kind of just like I might trade, I might not trade, and then sitting in the office, and I was like, yeah, well, that's it. So then I saw some things. I was like, you know what? Let me just follow my rules and stick to my plan and see what happens. And then it got fun, right? And so we'll talk about that. There was a couple of times I just, did not take a trade that weren't truly DR trades, but I know they were powerful ICT trades. But we'll talk about all that. All right, so let's get started like we normally do. Let's see what our range is. 43.44 up to 44.64. So what's that? 30 points. So pretty big range to start out the week. Now I understand today was a holiday, a Jewish holiday, and so volume may not have been as heavy as it normally is on a Monday. And we also have, I think, Chairman Powell speaking on Thursday. So there's some, and I think we have CPI or something coming out this week as well. I need to look at my Forex factory to kind of align my week. I just set up my chart last night, but I just didn't really have like the energy to be looking at a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, so a nice 30-point range. You can see kind of what our setup looks like. So it's kind of like this. So, again, kind of not something I'm going to put a lot of credence in right now. And then even looking back at the previous two sessions, ADR and ODR, they weren't lined up. The RDR, the New York session, didn't line up with them like if it was like an extension model or a consolidation model. So, we're kind of on our own for RDR for today. At least that's how I look at it. All right, so notice we took out a couple of these weekly sell side liquidities, right? So we took those out early. We took them out actually, before the market even opened, and so was kind of expecting that we would end up actually, I didn't have a bias on the DR setup, but I had a bias just overall from the market standpoint that we should probably be going this way, right? Because again, we took out those pretty heavy sell side liquidities, right? The weeklies are, that's the only thing more important than that would be a monthly. So we took those out. All right. So let's see what we end up doing. So we confirmed right a little bit after 11. We confirmed high up here, and now we did retrace, right? So here's where I said I could have taken a trade, but I just didn't. Just wasn't in the mood. All right. So if you look here, we actually end up forming a pretty significant fair value gap, bullish, right? Which means price wants to go that way. And so if you notice here, we could have gotten in any one of these, I could have gotten in any one of these trades and actually taken those trades, all right? But again, just didn't want to do that. It's kind of just not in the mood to be super aggressive today. And thus, we did not come back and retrace into DR, which is why I really didn't want to do that, because I really wanted us to come back here into DR, or even better into IDR on the high side, come back down and then start to retrace that way, which is where I normally get picked up, right? So that didn't happen. And so again, I'm kind of in that blah mood, like, yeah, I might not even trade today, right? So, price kind of trends up this way. If you notice, we also have the midnight open here, and we have the weekly open here, okay? So those are actually important. Midnight normally is has a little more action than the weekly, but I'll keep it out on the weekly just to see what it does. But if you look at midnight, we went up, in this case, we went above it, wicked above it, came back down, went up above it, came back down again. And now this is where it gets fun, because what it does is it comes all the way back down and it drops down into right below this DR high, okay? And also, there's one more thing that's sitting there, which I'll turn on for us in a second. Let me turn that off. So I can turn this on if I can get it to work. Let's turn on our gaps, okay? Now, if you notice, we have this new week opening gap, right? Normally, you got the weekly open, and right below that is the new week opening gap. So again, remember the new week opening gap in this case, or in every case, but for this week, it's the 4 o'clock close on Friday. And, so the gap between the 4 o'clock close on Friday until the 6 p.m. open on Sunday, right? So this is what we end up with that gap. Now that gap is very powerful, okay? And it normally, again, acts as support or resistance. We talk about that with the fair value gaps all the time. New week opening gap does the same thing. So if you notice what happens when price starts to come back down, it drops down. Now it came down into that new week opening gap, that gray box, right? And it also went down below this DR high. Didn't quite get to the IDR, right? But it just basically got to the bottom of that box. So what I did was I put an order in on my DR high, okay? And so that is 43 at, I want to say 43.64.25, if I'm not mistaken. I should know that because I made that trade like 3 times today. So price goes up, right? I'm at 5 points, right? So it's about right at 69. I'm noticing that on this candle, it just kept moving up quickly, just went straight up. So I moved my my take profit up to 10 points. Once I got above 5 points, I dropped moved my stop loss up from down here to 5 points. So I'm 5 points locked in. Went up to 10 points and then came out of the trade. Okay, so really nice trade there, pretty easy. And now here's the thing, right? So I saw that happen, and I was like, okay, let's see if it does it again. So I'm watching the price comes back down, does the exact same thing, comes back down to the fair value gap. I'm sorry, into the new week opening gap, drops down below the DR high. So orders placed on DR high, price comes up, eventually it comes back up again this way. And so I actually took, that was another, I think I got 5 points on that one because I really didn't, I actually came up to about here. Let me clear this up so you guys can see it. Let me make it a little bigger actually. I say that every time we do go these recaps. Okay, you guys can see this a little better hopefully. All right, so on this move, I'm in here at 64, 64.25 basically. And it comes up here to 69.75. And so I actually took my 5 points off here, okay? Now, when it got there, I wanted to move it up, but I didn't, right? So I said, okay, I'll take the 5, 'cause I got 10 over here, so let me just take this 5 here, right? Because you can see kind of where, how price kind of stopped and then it started to reverse, okay? So got 10 there, so that was the second move. All right, so, let's rinse and repeat, okay? So price comes back down again, does the exact same thing, right? 1, 2, 3 times, okay? So same thing here. This one, I actually took 5 off of this one because I had to go to a meeting at 2 o'clock, so I couldn't really watch it. And it went up here, and that's where I got stopped out at, same spot as before. But then you see it came back and then went back up and, went above midnight again. But notice what's happening at midnight each time it does that, right? Some of these it goes up further. But if you notice what it's doing until the end of the day, it's using midnight as a resistance line. Okay, so how I played this today was really simple. All right, still using DR, right? That worked. But even if I didn't have DR, what I'm seeing is a new week opening gap that I can use as support. Okay, and I'm seeing a line up here for this midnight open, which I can use as resistance. And in some of these cases, and they've been cleared out, so that's why they're not showing on the chart. But actually, I may not. Let me see if I turn these off. Let me look at what I got on my. Yeah, they're all off. But you had fair value gaps in here as well. I can see a huge one here. Oh shoot, sorry. Let me back this up some. Okay, let me do it that way. All right. So there are all kind of fair value gaps in here that you can leverage, just based off where price is. There's fair value gaps kind of all over the place here, right? Because price was moving up and down, up and down, up and down. So not going to talk about them too much, but again, you can if you know what a fair value gap look like, you can kind of see them on the chart and see kind of where you'd be able to leverage those. All right. So 3 trades for me today. Now, the one I missed, like I said, I was in my meeting at 2 o'clock, came out at 3, and I saw this drop right here. And I was like, man, that's a pretty big drop. You know, it went through, finally got through our new week opening gap. Okay. It set up some pretty big fair value gap here. And I thought about it. Okay. I'll be honest, I thought about it. What I was looking for, honestly, let me see if I can make this. I wanted price to come down below 0.5 fib. I wanted this move to come down here. All right. Because all this did here, if you look at where the IDR is, that's IDR high, right? So that's about that's 10 points right there. So I'm giving up 10 points on this one. So what I didn't do, I didn't set up my, so what I should have done, all right, if I was just going to continue to follow my rules, which, you know, I had 20 points from over here in the morning, so I was like, I wasn't too worried about it. But, you know, again, if I'm following the rules and I'm trying to show you guys what you should be doing, is my order should have been right here. Because at this point, these sell sides are taken out. These don't even matter anymore, right? Even though it turned around on the sell side, those are not really in existence like that anymore. So what I should have done in this case was put my order right here on the IDR low and taking that trade that way, right? But again, it's after 3 o'clock. I don't really like to trade after 3 o'clock unless I see a really just a solid movement or a continuation movement. And then you notice what happened, right? So it did make this nice move here. Made this nice move. You know, then it actually came back down again below the 0.5 fib. I mean, what am I saying? 0.5 fib. Below the IDR for the DR high, right? Again, did that same move that it did in the morning. 1, 2, 3, 4 times really, all right? Did that exact same move here and then went up again. You know, then the consolidation, and then finally at the end of the day, it had the, you know, the blast off where it actually took out midnight and it went up to, you know, up to the highs. Okay, so it took out, you know, we also had at this point we had a buy side liquidity that set up here. So it actually finally took that out, all that good stuff. All right. So, you know, again, I call it a fun day because like I could visually see what was going to happen, you know, almost before it happened, right? Which is always what you want, right? You want to be able to kind of predict, you know, they say you can't predict the market, but in some cases you're like, well, I can't predict it, but I can darn sure make a pretty good guess of what's going to happen. Okay. So once this first move happened and this came down, now what should I have done if I was really being aggressive today? I would have actually played these down moves also, right? Because I know it's coming back down here, right? I waited for it to come back down here to go back up. So if I was really being aggressive, I could wait for the turnaround and just grab some, you know, some gut plays on the way down, okay? But that's okay. Didn't do that, and you know, again, I don't want to be too greedy about it. Again, my, you know, DR had confirmed high, so I wanted to kind of stick with that bias. Again, even though I knew that these things were happening and I was playing them going the opposite way, right? I'm playing them on the way up. Nothing wrong playing them on the way down either. All right. Anyway, that's all for today. Again, hope everybody had a great day. You know, it's a really nice day if you were just being calm and patient and, you know, identifying the patterns and seeing what you should do. But again, sticking to your plan, right? So my plan is always, you know, my ladder strategy. So those are the rungs on the ladder. DR, IDR, those are my rungs. So I'm looking for them. And when I see them, I'm just going to take the trade. You know, 70, 80% of the time, I'm going to be right. If I'm wrong, that's okay because I'm wrong less than I'm right, right? If that makes sense. And when I'm wrong, my stop loss is less than it is when I'm actually right. So either way, I'm winning, okay? And that's what I want you to do also is to win, all right? All right, so, you know, keep back testing, keep trying this, keep practicing. You know, I'm seeing some folks coming back saying like, oh, I did this, I made this move, I saw this happening, and that makes me really happy because that's what it's all about, right? I'm in this to help us all win and help us all kind of have that, you know, we're all traders at the end of the day. If you're an investor, you wouldn't trade every day. You would just kind of put some money aside, and you know, I do that also, but you know, I like to trade. I like the action, so and I'm assuming you guys do too. All right, you wouldn't be here, all right? So anyway, all right, you guys take care. Love on your loved ones. You never know, you won't be able to do it again, so take advantage of each and every opportunity to do it. Appreciate y'all, and we will see what tomorrow brings. You guys know the rules by now. If there's no DR trades, then there'll be no DR video. All right, pretty simple. All right, guys. Oh, last thing. You know, I had put on one of my groups, you know, that this strategy in the market itself had, really started to pay for some of my things that popped up, right? So refrigerator went out, needed a new refrigerator. Market paid for that. My fences, the deer kept jumping over my fence and knocking over the pickets, whatever you call those things, right? DR helped pay for that. You know, had a huge electric bill when it was cold or hot and the kids were blowing the air conditioning all day, all night. DR paid for that, right? That's what I'm in this for, not to stack money into an account somewhere and just keep it, so I can look at it. It's here to help me to, you know, handle expenses, and that's, I use it for that. And so the thing about learning this strategy is, as you get older and get ready to retire, this is something you can do all the time. You can still do it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Anyway, I say all that to say, just keep at it and keep, find what makes you comfortable and what your risk tolerance is, and just do that. And don't worry about what everybody's telling you to do. Do what you feel is comfortable, right? And win or lose, you did it your way, right? And that's where it's supposed to be. So, all right, that's my soapbox for the night. You guys have a great one, and again, we'll see you tomorrow. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Peace.